It is now time for another Talking with Topher. This is episode 302, and it is so good to be back on this January 15th, 2026. And before I get into the podcast today, let me just start out the way I always do by saying thank you to all of my subscribers. If you're new, subscribe. You want an opportunity? TALKIN with Topher at gmail.com. Send an audio, video, or type it out. That's how you get it invited to the podcast. That's how you can tell your story. Don't forget about the link tree. It's in the description below the video, along with all of today's links discussed on this podcast. And now with all that out of the way, let's get into it.
This is crazy. I don't know if anybody else is noticing this with the eggs. But when you're breaking the shell and popping the membrane off, okay, you're only supposed to have one membrane. So right now, it's sticking, if you can see that. See how I'm pulling that one membrane off? And no shiny egg. So if I go like this and peel it again, look at that. Look at what's happening. Can you see it? I know the lighting is terrible in my kitchen, but you can actually see. Get a little bit closer for you. There you go. This is a second membrane. So there's a shell, a membrane, and then a second membrane still on the egg before I actually get down to the whatever the white shit is, you know what I mean, of the egg. But this is insane. It's gotten worse and worse. It wasn't happening with the brown. It was happening with the white. It's not happening with the white. It's happening with the brown. It keeps flipping back and forth. What's going on with the eggs, everybody? Am I poisoning myself every day? I don't know.
It's not difficult to see things happening when you are constantly keeping your eyes open and looking for them. And I hand peel my eggs every single day, and I do have to say that I have noticed this on a bigger percentage of the eggs that I eat every week than it used to be. And I do notice that it is getting worse, and I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to stop any of this. I don't think we can, everybody. We are on a train with no brakes, and I'm telling you, the track is not running out that I can see in front of me, but I'm telling you, one of these days, I'm going to look out that window, and that track is going to be at the end, and this train is going to go off the rails, and I don't know what's going to pop it first. Is it going to be all the things going on in the world that I'll get into in the episode 303, or is it going to be the food just completely and absolutely wrecking us? Or is it just going to be everything all at once, and it's going to be so much to handle that you're either going to be able to handle it or you're not, because it's going to be that much. You know what I mean? That's what I think. But I think double membrane on the eggs is something to be talking about here, everybody. Now, this here is absolutely bone-chilling phone call. These videos are coming out. The Epstein files are being released. The Epstein videos from jail are being released. All of these things are happening along with phone calls being released. And this is Michael Jackson's last phone call with Jeffrey Epstein, everybody. This is about Jeffrey Epstein. Not 100%, but let's listen to this because it is absolutely bone-chilling. I listened to the first moment of it, and I was like, you know what? I just have to put this up.
What's wrong, Michael? I don't know if I should tell you this, but I don't know who may be listening. There may be a group of people that want to get rid of me. They don't want me here anymore.
I don't understand. What do you mean? Talk to me.
I can't talk about it over the phone. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just feel in my soul, only God knows, they could shoot me, they could stab me, they could frame me and say I overdosed with drugs. They can do a lot of things.
Who could do these things?
It's not the government. It's more than the government. But I don't know, Tia. I don't care. They can take me. I don't even care my life anymore. I just want my children to be okay. My angels.
Michael.
So as you can see and hear from that phone call, now I understand that the audio is a little scratchy and it's kind of hard to make out his voice, but what he's basically saying is that I have something to tell you, and I don't know who the dieter is, or Kiro Jitsu. Maybe Kiro Jitsu is the one that put this up. So you can go follow him on Instagram. Obviously, the link is in the description below the video. But we are hearing a phone call between Michael and I don't know if it's Epstein or if it's somebody else, but we're listening to him tell this person, hey, they may make it look like I've overdosed. They may shoot me. They're going to take me out. They're going to take me out. Well, doesn't that really make you think about how he died? Right? And did that doctor get in trouble for that? I believe that to be true. Didn't that doctor get in trouble for the propofol? Right? Isn't that what it is? Being distributed to Michael and distributed incorrectly, just like the doctor that was, any of these doctors that assist in and or suicide or death, or assist in helping you sleep, with anesthesia, which is just terrible for you. And just to let everybody know, that stuff that you're feeding your children, melatonin, stop it. It's very bad for them. It's bad for you too. It's really not good. It is a hormone. Look into it and go get your melatonin tested before you start taking a sleep agent that could be hurting you in the long run because you're just throwing your rhythm out of whack. But that aside, as I digress, this is crazy to me and makes me really think about, was he killed? Was he taken out for some reason? Did he have information that we could have utilized today against or for Epstein? Don't know. Don't care. Either way it went, he might have had some input. And now he's no longer here to speak. And is it possible that he was speaking truth and worried about his life? And if I could date this, which probably already has been done, there is many people digging into all of these files coming out right now. It is wild. But is it a possibility that Michael was relaying a message to somebody else saying that I'm in danger, keep an eye on me, I'm not this, I'm not that, but I feel like my life is in danger, and then relatively soon after this, he's dead? That's usually a cover-up, and there's a reason why they don't want these people to speak anymore. It's just like Charlie Kirk. It's It's just like everybody else. There is a reason why these things are happening. And whether we like to admit it or not, we never know the reason, right? Until it's too late. So, bone-chilling information coming out right now across the board. This one really had me like, wow, everybody. But I got to take a quick break, but I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I might have to pop out again. I've got one dog that does not want to come in the house right now, so I might be popping in and out of here for a couple moments. But let's get into my third thing here. Just getting this ball rolling, everybody. Massive 3,000-mile radar line just lit up the U.S., and no one can explain it. A perfectly straight line, ultra dense, abnormally suddenly appeared on weather radar stretching over 3,000 miles from southwest, slicing clean through the deep south. Are we looking at something they don't want explained? Now, I do find this to be relatively interesting because why? Because I believe that the weather is basically at this point in time manipulated. It's not 100%. I don't know what the percentage is, but you cannot tell me that the fact that they've been creating and making weather for decades, if not half a century, if longer, that they don't do it regularly today. So maybe all of our weather is not manipulated, but some of our weather is definitely man-made, which causes problems with the actual weather. But there's something going on here more than the weather, than climate change, okay? And I kind of agree. I watch a lot of different things, right? I watch comedians I don't agree with. I watch people talk about round earth, which I don't agree with. I like to listen to the opposite side of every story or every view that can be happening with anything today. So when you do that, you get to listen to a lot of things that really, really aggravate you. But it also allows you to understand the way that they think, and you can kind of put yourself in their shoes. But then again, all my own thoughts kind of put holes in everything that they're talking about. And that's how I feel about the weather, okay? Climate change, I'm going to say right now, is 100% real. The problem I have with climate change is that it's not our fault. And our fault being the people of any country on this planet. If you are just like me and you're going to work, you're coming home, you're taking care of your dogs, and you're shoveling and you're doing all the stupid shit day in and day out, and you literally have no power over anything, that makes you a regular citizen. These are the people I'm talking about. We are not ruining the planet, everybody. The people that are causing climate change, that are causing the effects that are happening today, are our governments, our government officials, and everybody in charge of every single country across the board. That means it's not our fault. That's what I mean about I don't believe in climate change. The climate is changing. There's no doubt about that. You must be retarded if you don't see that there is a definite change in our climate from year to year, sometimes even day to day, right? We've had abnormal weather almost everywhere on this planet. So that is real. But the way that they say that we are the problem is where I draw the line, because I can't be the problem if I'm utilizing the stuff that you told me I could buy. Therefore, you are the one creating this problem I have no choice. I have to buy a car. I have to buy a house. I have to live somewhere. I have to consume oil, gas, or wood. Like, we have to do these things today in order to live. They've made it this way. That's not our fault, everybody. And this is the biggest argument that I get the most pushback on. Why does everybody want to be at blame for the climate changing? We need to be pointing the finger at the people that are actually doing it, that are actually making the moves, destroying the planet, digging things out, blowing shit up, and then creating disposable products for all of us to use so that we can't have anything that lasts anymore because we have to buy more, we have to consume more because they need to make their profits. They have made the climate and the world that we live in today. And I am done taking the fault for their mistakes. So let's take a look at this radar real quick, because this is wild, everybody.
Spanning for over 3,000 miles, as you're going to see here in just a moment. Check this out. I'm just going to let it play. I'll kind of narrate as he's spanning through, and it indicates, if you look at that line right there, it's got a dark feature in the center, basically implying density. Like it's denser in the center than it is on the edges. That's how it computes rain density. The rain is denser when it's purple, it's lighter when it's green, and it's orange, yellow, and red when it's moderate. So the purple represents density if you're comparing it to VIL, vertical integrated water rain. But look at this. This is the weirdest thing. Now, we've seen anomalies on radar before in the form of like big radar rings that show up from time to time. And they're usually from Doppler, but sometimes when they're over 300 miles long, it makes you wonder what they really are. But look at this. It extends all the way out into the Atlantic Ocean, goes across Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, out into Bermuda, basically through the Bermuda Triangle area, spanning over 3,000 miles. He had never seen anything like this before on his weather radar, and we've all looked at weather radar at one point in time in our lifetimes, some of us every day. I'm one of those people that look at it every day. I can honestly say I've never seen anything like this. It is super weird. Went right through Savannah, just south of Claxton, seemed to break right there for whatever reasons, because, again, we're not sure what we're looking at here. It seemed to be a little stronger in the Georgia area. See the purple? Montgomery, Alabama, Selma, Meridian, through Louisiana, that's Jackson, Mississippi, Vicksburg, now over into Shreveport, under Shreveport, south of Shreveport, went through Texas, went right over my head out here in Arizona, through New Mexico, and then out into the Atlantic Ocean. Check it out. Went right over my head out here in Arizona.
What?
Yeah, we're over here in Phoenix and went right above Phoenix.
What is
in
that?
the world did he catch on radar here? I mean, is this some sort of a dismissible glitch that, you can't dismiss everything that shows up on these things as just a coincidental glitch.
And that's where I agree, because nothing, dude, coincidence is not real. There is no coincidence. There's none. It doesn't exist. If things are happening, it's because they're happening, right? And I'll get a little bit more into that later in the episode, but this is wild to me. What is that? Why is no one talking about it? And why are we not talking about it more? Because if it is just some glitch in the system, what caused the glitch, right? We should know what caused the glitch. Was it a computer glitch? Was it a program glitch? Was it an app glitch? Who knows, right? If it was a glitch. Something happened. It was caught on radar, and no one has an explanation for it. That's where I'm at. That's not a coincidence. That's a problem. And again, when no one else is picking up on this, we have a much bigger issue at hand. So this one here, man, is just another reflection on Ben Shapiro. Magella and Elijah on episode 300, they talked about it. You haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on the shorts. It's a clip. It's social media. I put it out everywhere because we agree 50-year mortgages are crazy, and Ben Shapiro should not be saying that you have to continue working after 65. I think this is insane that anybody in this position of power or with these platforms or with the amount of money that they have should be telling any of us that we need to work longer. Nobody with enough money to support themselves for the rest of their lives should be telling us that we need to work longer for them. Aggravating, super aggravating to me. So we called him out. Tucker's doing the same. Let's watch Tucker Carlson destroy Ben Shapiro.
No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. It's totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you will receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family, you and your wife or whatever, for like another 20 years. That's crazy talk.
How dare you tell me when I should retire? Who are you exactly? You're like a child who's got some deal with Facebook or whatever, whoever you are. You are not God. You have no right to talk to me like that. But you do because you have no respect for me. You have no love for me at all. Shapiro and all of these guys, they don't make an effort to do that because they don't feel that way at all. Shut up, cattle. You're a Nazi. Give us the money for our preferred little country, or else we're going to denounce you.
Do you agree with Tucker?
I mean, if you don't agree with Tucker, that's crazy to me. I do not want to work longer than 65. I don't feel like I should. The amount of work that you do in 45 years is absolutely worth minimum 15 years of payback. Think about it. Anybody who actually stops working, right? And I might get into something else like more episodes down the road. It's still a little too much to talk about right now. But anybody who stops working, they all perish. Do I agree with him that you should stop working at 65? No. I don't agree that you should stop working because I believe when we stop, that's our absolute demise. Should you be required to keep working a 40-hour week past the age of 65? No. But you can do exactly what we're allowed to do, which is you can work up to a minimum of 20 hours a week, and you can collect your Social Security on top of that. I believe that's the law that my dad told me. That should be okay because I don't mind that because now you keep going. You have reasons to do things. You got to get up. You got to move. You got to get out. You got to do stuff, right? Until you're physically incapable of doing those things, of course. But you're not required to continue working a 40-hour week anymore. Now, granted, I don't even think there's going to be Social Security in my future. So I may have to continue working because the options that my parents got may not be there for me. They may not be there for my nieces and nephews. I don't know. But if they are there, you are goddamn right. I am going to take advantage of retirement. And I'm going to get what's owed to me because I put in my time. And for you to tell me my time's not over, I agree with Tucker. You have no respect or love for me. And that, Shapiro, is just wrong. And that is why we all told you to pack your bags and go back to Israel, dude. Or go to Israel. Go to where these things are looked at as positive things. Because I am really getting tired of being called an anti-Semite or a Nazi or any of these other fucking words that people like to throw around so flamboyantly today. Because it's easy to say things and try to cancel than it is to have an argument or a conversation. We already figured that one out, didn't we? This country doesn't like debates because the other side can't be wrong or you catch a bullet, right? So let's just pump the brakes on this and tell Shapiro and any other person that wants us to work past 65, no. Nope, not happening. You know what I mean? But let's get into this next one, man. I guess there's one last dragon. Have you heard of the last dragon? Well, supposedly, there's a possibility someone is trying to thaw this thing out. Let's check it out, everybody, because I will say that in the Bible, there's no mention of dinosaurs anywhere. But you want to know what they do mention? A lot, actually. More than you would actually think, actually. It's not a ton. I think it's like 16, maybe 20 times. But it gets mentioned, everybody. Dragons. Dragons get mentioned. So, like I said, I don't think the Bible is all made up. I think it's truth put into stories that sound fictitious. Check this out. This is wild, dude. Wild shit today.
One last dragon. There is one, Ghidorah, is from space. He's an alien that came down here to fight, and then he got frozen, and they're saying it's because of the ice age. And so that's why they're like so upset about global warming, because they know if that dragon thaws out, because what happens in the Bible? A dragon thaws out, and he takes over the world. What happens in every single culture? There's dragons on every single civilization on this planet has a picture of a dragon.
So you're saying Republicans want to melt the ice to release the dragon?
Yes, because they're lizards.
Whoa.
That's why they don't want us remaking dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That's why they keep trying to put out this propaganda about Jurassic Park. They're all going to eat us, but no, they helped us fight them, the Bigfoots, the Yetis. Like, we all got together. We all spoke one language. You think I'm crazy? You think I'm lying?
No, I agree with you.
There are pyramids that go directly in Egypt that line up with Orion's belt, right?
Yes.
Orion's belt. They line up with Orion's belt, which is a white dwarf, which is made out of diamonds. And you need diamond and gold to travel in space, right? So interdimensional travel, they will put a diamond in there to go up there. So I think the fight happened where they broke the trace, because if you think about Orion's belt, who is Orion the hunter, who's Orion hunter fight? The bull. But if you really take a good drawing of the bull that has a red eye, it looks like a dragon. Instead, they just drew it like a Taurus to say like, oh, this is Taurus, but it's a dragon. Orion was fighting the dragon with his two dogs, but I think there were actually dinosaurs that beat the dragon, and that's why they don't have interdimensional travel. But if you think, even if you line up when the Anunnaki were supposed to be on this planet, if you line up when the Anunnaki supposed to be on the planet, and you Google the distance it takes to get light years away, it's the exact same time. They only came here for gold, because gold is the only metal that does not do
but what do they need the gold for?
To build the satellite. That's why we use gold for everything. That's why gold will never have a standard. That's why there's no more gold that can ever be made. They go to planets and they try to have this dimensional travel, but then the dragon came over from the red giant, Canis Major, flew over to there, came down to America with these octopus and raccoons and a dragon, and they tried to take us over, but with the dinosaurs' help.
You're saying we need the dinosaurs.
We need them.
So we need Jurassic Park.
That's what I'm saying. We need Jurassic Park.
No.
The Democrats know.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? But they
and then
try to keep us
everyone
up.
calls me autistic for liking dinosaurs.
Exactly.
Even though they're our best friends.
Yes. Why do autistic kids automatically know to love dinosaurs? People have to tell you not to like dinosaurs. They have to make a horror movie out of it.
Tell me every day, and you know what I say? You.
Yeah, show me a horror movie with a dragon in it. What do we use dinosaurs for right now? Gasoline. Why are we in war in the Middle East?
Gasoline.
Because they know we dig up the remains and we find out what happens. That's why you can't go to the pyramids, because they know how to decipher the hieroglyphics. They don't want to tell us that it's all about this dragon. Meanwhile, they're trying to heat up the planet, burning the fossil fuels, which are dinosaurs, to heat up the planet.
To let the dragon go.
So the dragon can rule us, because they're the lizard people and they worship the dragon.
My whole life changed today.
Yeah, good.
I'm glad I came on this religious podcast.
Dude, there's so many holes in that. First of all, I don't know. I don't know about the space thing. I'm telling you. I think there's a lot more hiding than they're willing to expose. As for of course, the Republicans are melting the planet to release the dragon because they are the lizard people, which I don't believe that. I think they're all lizard people. I don't think Democrats are free from this. I don't think Republicans are free from this. I think all of them collectively are fucking lizards. And they all want the same thing. And they all follow the direction of Klaus Schwab. I think at the end of the day, everything leads back to them. And I'm not diverting from this thought right now because I don't believe it's Trump. I don't believe it's our government. I don't think it's our army, our generals, our mayors or governors or senators or vice president. I don't think it's anybody in there that knows what the end game is or understands the narrative that we are all in more than Klaus Schwab and all of the people that sit at that table. Those are the people that are writing all the stories. They're writing the history. They're writing the present. And they're writing our future. And this dragon coming from space, dinosaurs being needed, I'm going to heavily lean on nope. Now, have I played videos where we've seen an outline of a dragon that is frozen like underneath the ground? And, you know, I have. Could that be somewhat true? I don't know. I don't know if any of this shit's true. What I will tell you is that it's very entertaining to think that it's only one political side that would want this to happen. And at the same time, we need something that didn't exist in order to get it done. That's how far down the road people have gone with this narrative that our world is round, dinosaurs were real, space exists, and according to Chuck, who works with Neil deGrasse Tyson, I watched his comedy special last night, Chuck Nice, he thinks we are absolutely retarded. And I have to say to him, we are not science deniers, okay? I don't think I have information in my hands or in front of me that is 100% completed or 100% accurate. What I have in front of me is an argument for the narrative that has been written for us for centuries, hundreds of years, thousands, I don't know how long it's been written. I still believe that this planet, this thing that we are on, has been around longer than we can ever fathom. We are on top of our history. You dig down, you find things that they say are not supposed to be there. You find things that they say never existed. And when you go to places and you go, hey, I don't think it was possible for these people to do what you said that they did. And they go, nope, that's what happened. This is what I'm talking about, man. We need to stop and go, wait a minute. You keep telling me that it's this, but I have all of this other stuff that makes either more sense or it shows relatively that it could fit in to your holes in your story. So I don't agree with everything that was said here, but I do think that dragons were more realistic and or existed and dinosaurs did not. But if dinosaurs did exist and the pyramids and all of these things existed before the people that we found inside of them, because I don't believe any of those people built the things that they were utilizing. I believe those structures already existed. And they just happened to find them. And they were like, hey, wow, look at this. Dude, why don't we just move in? It's all done. Let's utilize this. Figure it out. See how it works. Right? I think that is closer to the truth than anything else. But I just thought this was fun. You know, I like to throw this type of stuff in there because it gets you out of the regular narrative. You know what I'm saying? You got to take in all the information. I don't believe in this thing that we are all trying to uncover. I don't believe it's going to be one direct path to uncovering it. We are going to have to collectively look at a lot of information and decipher what could be the closest thing to the truth. And the fact that big media constantly says that doing your own research is dangerous and you need to be tuning into us because doing your own research is dangerous. Those are the things I'm trying to get you to tune out. That is wrong. When someone tells you something and then they tell you not to look into it, you should be looking into it and asking why. Why should I not be looking into this? They never have a good reason. Now, is that a coincidence? Check this out. The line between life and tech just got thinner, everybody. Just got thinner. Check this out. This is so creepy.
We're looking at Oscar, the first human modular prototype that is able to live in various setups. Now, what's going to happen is that I'm going to connect the brain to the heart module to activate the blood circulation.
Whoa.
Now, the lung is going to start breathing. You can see both organs are now collaborating. I can add a kidney module.
Kidney?
And if I add a limb module, I start actuating the organism to move. Now it's looking for the optimal temperature, which is 37 degrees. If I add another limb...
Dude, what did I just show you people? This is insane, bro. That thing had a brain, a modular, lungs, a liver for some reason, and appendages. 2 arms, which... I don't know about you, but when I'm doing a video, I would have put them. I guess he wanted to show you that all 4 connections. So that thing can have 4 different limbs. That is creepy, dude. Creepy. Biohybrid robot. Okay, everyone. We're having fun, huh? This is some scary, scary stuff. I do not know what else to say about this except for creepy. Biotechnology is absolutely what it is. My God, I am completely and absolutely creeped out right now. Absolutely. This is a wild, wild situation. Now, have you ever looked and really taken in the China Wall? I think that the China Wall is another situation that was just there. And the reason that I think this is because it's so massive and it was done in a particular amount of time. Again, the time doesn't make any sense. And the people that have looked into the structure of the China Wall and the people that, like architects and engineers and people with the brains to know these things, have dug into this and looked into it so far that it is starting to add up that it's an anomaly like the pyramids. It's in an area where the story makes more sense to me, and therefore it actually fits into history easier for me, and it makes way, way more sense. But I'm going to let this guy here, Clark Payne, you can follow him on Facebook, and we're going to let him finish this up, because I tell you right now, this is pretty cool, man. I think this could be so much closer to the truth.
Rewritten, y'all. Look at this. This is the Great Wall of China. This is China. This is Russia. I want y'all to look at something now. You see these little slits? Let me not get too far ahead of myself, okay? This right here is Grand Tartaria, okay? Which is now Russia, okay? This is a theory, but hold on. Tartaria was this magical kingdom, everybody says, with like all kinds of free energy and just power beyond all recognition. This was their flag. Now, you see their little flag, right? It's a griffin, okay? This is the Russian coat of arms. You see this right here? Look what that joker's stomping on and got a spear through. It is, in fact, a griffin, for sure. So people say that Tartaria wasn't real and all this, but look, the flags of all nations, if it wasn't real, why was there Tartary right here? And look, then the China, look, they're both facing away from each other. Russia, China, Tartaria, China, or is it Russia? Which one is it, y'all?
13,171 miles long. Let me put that in perspective. Crossing the U.S. coast to coast is about 3,000 miles. Now multiply that by 4, and then add 1,000 miles. That's how massive this wall is.
What?
Now the question is, who built something that massive for...
They say this side is, see, where they throw the arrows to the enemies, and that's why they built this giant wall to protect China from their enemies. But you know what's interesting and very curious? This side is China, and this side is outside China.
So what's really interesting, y'all, is allegedly, this right here, look, the gun slit for defense, or actually arrow slits or whatever, so they could, like, defend themselves. Well, if that side's China, why is it not on this side? They're trying to defend, you know what I mean? It's opposite, it's backwards, allegedly, is what everybody's saying. So the only way to really find out is to go to China, to go to the Great Wall. So that's what we're going to do. We are traveling all the way there. We're going to see it for ourselves, okay? That's a fact, and we're going to show y'all the real truth. And I could be wrong about all this, but I'm not usually wrong. There's countless maps, y'all. Look, Tartaria, bam. This one right here is from like the 1400s, I think, or something like that. Why is Tartaria all over all these maps, yet it never existed? Tartaria was a region. If it was a region, why on earth do they have a daggum flag, man? If it's just a region, that doesn't make any sense at all. And why the whole Russia thing? Look, the Russian coat of arms, they're spearing. They're like, nope, we're taking over. Ha 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 ha. And also, it was like a little owl. But my question is, if the Tartarians were so big and bad and all that, how were they conquered? If they had all this free energy, all this power, all that, how were they conquered? You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing nobody can ever seem to answer about that. So, yeah. There's plenty, there's plenty of these right here. All of them, they got little griffins they're spearing. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of them. This is the Russian Tsar and the Tartarian ruler. Look at the top of their little head right there. The same exact little lines kind of like on my forehead. You know what I'm saying? They match, y'all. There's a lot of questions. There's always the questions, never the answers. This video was for entertainment purposes only.
They're always for entertainment purposes only, right? We're not allowed to do anything without saying that damn statement. I mean, I'm so sorry to always reiterate this, but God, man. We're searching for something right now. We're collectively going over information. I don't believe it to be deemed misinformation or false narrative or harmful talk. if you listen to anything like this and you're like, this is 100% true, I feel bad for you because that's a crazy side to be on. If you listen to this stuff and you're like, it's 100% false, I also feel bad for you because you believe everything that they tell you. The other person doesn't believe a thing they're being told on either side. I don't know what is better, but I truthfully believe for myself to be somebody to just disagree because I've already been told what the story is, I think is just a sad situation to be in. Now, is there a lot of stuff out there that is way off? Of course it is. But we need the way off to find the stuff that's not. And we need the stuff that's not to be able to make more sense than what they've already told us. So if we don't have all of the information together collectively, you can never make a better decision because they just suppress it as misinformation or anti-Semite or Nazi or this is harmful. So, and it's always for the kids, which is just a joke at this point, right? We know what you really think of the kids, don't we? Have we not seen enough? So, whenever they use that argument, I feel like it's really, really cringy now. Knowing what we know and knowing what's coming from just the Epstein files alone. It's a lot of pedophilia and obviously stolen federal funding. So don't shoot it down just because you feel like the people that wrote the books are telling you the truth. Take a look, decide for yourself, but also don't believe everything we're saying either, because that would just be crazy. Now, this elites were after him after exposing their whole system. Check this out. This is wild.
Oh, I just got told that people don't know about McDonald's. Okay, you know the adrenochrome production? Okay, let's go back a couple of steps. Adrenochrome is adrenalized blood. It is developed when an individual is in a deep state of terror. Adrenaline pumps through the blood, and then they drain that blood from the person, and that's a drug. It's the drug of choice. It is produced on an industrial scale. Walmart uses its supply chain to transport around the world. It's transported in 44-gallon drums, say out of Holland. Now, how many babies do you have to kill and torture to get a 44-gallon drum? So what do you do with the bodies after that? Well, I just put them into the McDonald's Burgers. In US. This is US. I don't know about Oz, but definitely the US.
What? I mean, after hearing, the CEO or whatever, the owner of Campbell's come out about the soup and, all the theories behind whether or not McDonald's is real meat and where are all these cows coming from and why is it, that farms here in Massachusetts and New Hampshire are literally closing. There was just another farm in Massachusetts that got closed about 3 days ago. And you are looking at, of course, this is also January 1st, 2026 when I'm recording. So it has been weeks since this place has been shut down at this point. But the thing that I'm getting at is we have all of these fast food chains. How many McDonald's are there? How much meat is that? Where are they producing the cows? They would have to be lined up around the world. You would see the longest line for the slaughterhouse. It is insane that they can say that we serve X amount of people a day, and yet there's no farms producing as much meat as they can produce or as they can serve in one day. Isn't that very interesting? And after hearing Campbell say the things that he said about his soup, I wouldn't eat that processed stuff. I wouldn't eat that fake shit. What are you talking about? So is all of the food that we are consuming today fake? And are we just going to keep sitting here going, I wonder why so many people are getting sick today, and not look at what the food we are consuming has in it? You're not even going to ask. This is the biggest reason why I say you need to look into everything. You should be really looking into what you consume, put on your skin, on your body, wear for clothes. Like, you need to look into where this stuff is made. I am still one of those people where if I get a new shirt, it gets washed before I put it on my body. Some people think it's weird. I think it's a precautionary thing to do to protect the largest organism that I have in or on my body, which is my skin. Very, very, very important to take care of your skin, everybody. Okay? So I think you should take care of your skin, take care of your heart, take care of your teeth, and then take care of your weight. But I do believe that if we take care of our teeth, it benefits our heart. If you take care of your skin, it benefits your body. And if you take care of your weight and don't become overweight, then overall you're going to be a better living human. But we have to be worried about what we're putting into our system. We have to be worried about what you're buying off of the grocery shelves and stuffing in your face. Today, more than ever, please do your due diligence to look into this. Read your labels and make sure you're not ending your life quicker than you could if you had just paid attention and changed your diet. I think those things are very important. All right, witchcraft attempt caught on camera. Well, let's take a dive into this because, I mean, if we are really catching witchcraft on camera, I mean, one, I want to see it. And two, what's it look like? Let's go.
I'm going to show you witchcraft done in actual action on a Christian right now. And I hope that Bryce doesn't mind me using this video. But I'm going to show you what this witch is doing to Bryce and break down exactly what her plan is here and how she's doing it. Bear in mind, he is covered in the blood of Jesus. None of this would have touched him. But if you are not covered in the blood of Jesus, these are the impacts this would have had on you. So first, I'm going to show you the video quickly, and then I'm going to break it down.
Austin Bud kill, like I said earlier, but he loves me.
Because we need to be attentive to. I like.
Good to see you again.
I love this man. First thing you can see here is she puts a tissue into Bryce's hood. There is an ill health spell where you cough and you basically mumble the words into the tissue, scrumple it up, and then you put it into the person's pocket, into their coat, into their hood like she just did. Then we see what looks like her taking a piece of hair and then trying to string it onto Bryce. Now she may have plucked that hair from him. I doubt that was her own hair. Or maybe she saw it on his jumper, and then you can actually speak curses onto somebody's hair and put it back onto them. Again, this would have been a form of ill health, bad luck. If you watch the video carefully, you can see the intent through her eyes, and she does mumble slightly as well, so she is actually doing witchcraft as she's doing. After this, you would have seen her do this near to Bryce. This is called darting, and this is where you speak witchcraft into your hands and you dart the person with it. Either you can do it like this or you do it like this. I'm not going to tell you the actual spells or anything like that. So far, that's 3 attempts, so she's really engaging on trying to hex Bryce here. And this is where I started to question if she actually has a little thing for Bryce here, because she actually throws a bit of a drink down by his feet. I'm not going to say the actual spell, but that is a form of a love spell to mix your own bodily fluid into their part. Then shortly after that, she puts her arm around him and says, oh, I love you, I love you. This is called engagement, so actually she needs to physically touch him for some form of spell here, and also she may actually be trying to perform some sort of ritual, mind control, or a love spell in itself. I'm not entirely sure of her intentions here. It's kind of confusing. You see quite a few hexes, and then you see an attempt at love. Also, throughout the whole thing, she's trying to distract him, obviously, from speaking the word of God to people on the street. So yeah, to me, this looks like Rogeri. There's a little bit of Santeria going on in there, and a hint of attempting voodoo. You don't need to concern yourself with what these spells are or what it is exactly she's doing. What you need to understand is people do these things. So you don't usually see this kind of witchcraft in the West. You see it way more in the East, to be honest. Above all of that, Bryce is covered by the blood of Jesus. He won't be touched. And if you notice that Bryce is completely unfazed by what she's doing, and bless him, even when she's saying I love you, he turns around and says I love you too. So she is lost. Evidently she's lost. And there is a spirit in her that hates the word of God, and that's why she's doing the hexing. But then you kind of start to see her soften a little bit, and then the love spells come in. Maybe actually she is seeking Jesus, but that spirit of witchcraft it doesn't like. I've done this video for information purposes, just a little bit of a deeper idea of what exactly went on there. None of that would have affected him, but had that been done on you and you're not covered in the blood of Jesus, you can probably expect ill health, crazed mind, thoughts that aren't yours. It is so important that if you are up against witchcraft of any kind, you plead that blood of Jesus over you. It is the only thing that stops it and breaks it. I plead the blood of Jesus over you now, because not all witchcraft has to be done in person, by the way. You can do it online very easily. And all of this information just came from an ex-witch of 15 years, so I do have some idea of what I'm talking about.
Holy shit, dude. She was a witch for 15 years? This lady was like doing multiple hexes on this kid? Who is this kid? I don't even know who this is, but man, that lady looked creepy. And I would almost be swatting her away like a fly. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Go away. Go away. Like, I don't know. I don't think I would be able to respond. I love you too. That's a little weird, huh? Oh, man, that is craziness. Bryce Crawford. And what does she mean? He's drenched in the blood of Christ. Is that getting baptized? Because if it is, then I guess I'm drenched in Jesus's blood or something or whatever, Christ's blood. But I don't know. I don't know what she means by that. How is he covered in his blood? Not sure. Just like I'm not sure about this. Look.
Today we're going to talk about Christopher Columbus and some hidden history from The International Jew by Henry Ford. Did you know in 1492 more than 300,000 Jews were expelled from Spain and came to America? Then it gets a little deeper when you find out who owns all the social media, and then who also owns the tobacco industry, the cotton industry, the banking industry, the theater, the newspaper, the radio. And then we can clearly see who owns the government as well. Now someone's going to come in there and say, oh, this is anti-Semitic. That's the same thing you always hear, so that you don't question what's actually happening in your country. It gets deeper when you find out that the pioneers of LGBTQ45, same people. And a lot of people don't know this is going on because these people are always changing their names. Phoenicians, Venetians, Khazarians, Bolsheviks, Zionists, Communists, and it goes on. And someone's going to ask, why were they changing their names? Well, because if you tracked it back to slavery and you found out who actually brought the slaves, it kind of gives you a different story. Really gives you a different story, that's for sure. Then it gets deeper when you find out who did the first plastic surgeries, so that people can blend in. Then it gets deeper when you talk about Palestine and the takeover of that with the Rothschilds, same people. And the whole Palestine thing connects back to the Rothschilds, who were the bankers, who then control everything, including the schools. And this is why in school, things like reading the Bible, praying, celebrating Christmas, gotta get rid of all that. Then it gets deeper when you find out who brought in all the liquor and all the drugs, and also made people into drunks during the Great Depression, because the same people caused the Great Depression. And this book was written in 1921, so we have been hijacked for a long period of time, especially when all the media and the newspapers and the radios are owned by a small group of people who control everything, kind of like what we see today. So on that note, here's some things you might want to look into, and also maybe why we gave another country $133 billion when they've been lying to us the entire time. I don't know. Have a great day.
I love the way he ends that video. He's like, I don't know, but have a great day. You know what I'm saying, dude? It's so fucking funny. But that's what I'm talking about. You see how they went under the ice and then just dropped into this video on Christianity and Jews and how they're just taking everything over. They've been digging their way into everything for a long time. And unfortunately, I don't believe their narrative anymore. I don't believe them at all. I'm sorry. I know how painful and hurtful that may sound to a lot of you out there, but I am really, really, really starting to think that a lot of the stuff that we have been told, and we were told this is how it is, and blah, 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 is nothing but BS today. It's all lies. Look it up. 109 countries kicked these people out. What? And then they cried Holocaust. It's just not adding up. It's not adding up, everybody. And that's where my problem is. According to what we were told and according to what we're finding, are not adding up. Now, is everything that's being found real? No. You have to decipher the real from the fake. But when you are grabbing articles and stuff from 1920 and earlier, it's really, really hard to still stay on the defensive for somebody that doesn't deserve it. You know, and I've told everybody this. My biggest problem is that they keep saying it's the only one. We've only had one type of slavery. We've only had one type of a Holocaust. We've only had one. You people stop paying attention to everything that's happened all over the world for the last 300 years. Stop it. Stop it. Because, yes, all of these things have been happening, and they're still happening today. And actually, slavery and all the human trafficking and pedophilia is actually times 100 today. But don't pay attention to that, because it was these specific times that we need to be sorry for. Oh, and by the way, we're rubbing out the white man. That's right. As of right now, we are demolishing the white race. Look into it. Look, I'm not a white supremacist. I'm not for white power. I'm not for any type of power. Personally, I don't want any of it. But when you recognize a situation that's happening, there's a problem. And you all want to say that we're the racists. But guess what? It's also racist to do it against us. So you're a racist as well. So welcome to the party. The entire world and everybody is a racist at one moment in time. I don't know anybody who hasn't been racist to a race. So thinking that you're better than somebody else is bullshit. It really is. Because I have never met a person that did not have a problem with another person for any other reason except for race. Sorry, I have never heard of it. We do it all the time. And I'm going to tell you why I think we do it. It's just a default. You don't know the person, so you pick out the most noticeable thing about the person. What's the most noticeable thing about a person? Well, I just called it the biggest organism we have. It's our skin, everybody. So if you can't not like somebody because you don't know them enough to not like them, it's super easy to not like somebody because of the way that they dress, look, the color of their hair, skin, whatever have you. So at one moment in everybody's life across this world, flat around, has or is racist. Prove me wrong. So everybody heard about the shooter, right? That was found in Salem, New Hampshire, I believe. Some Boston University, the Brown University shooter. The thing that's been coming up, everybody, is how did a homeless man catch him? How did this happen? Well, this guy has been digging a little bit deeper into it, and we're all kind of asking the same question. You know, it's amazing how things do wind up in New Hampshire, or they usually end in New Hampshire. Somehow there's always a New Hampshire tie to something. But I am curious as to how a homeless person did catch the killer. Now, there is a $50,000 reward, and I will remind everybody that everybody has a cell phone today. That's right. If you're homeless, just go to your local wherever and fill out a form, and you get a free phone from the government. Why? Because Obama made it that way, I believe. So, everybody's plugged in, no matter if you're rich or poor, homeless or not. It doesn't matter. Our government has made it so that everybody gets a phone, which again leads me back to being able to implement AI God on everybody, because everybody's got a phone. So it's real easy to do, man. It's going to be real easy to pull that trigger. But let's listen to what this guy has put together about this shooting, the chase, and the homeless guy catching the shooter.
Or does anybody else find this suspicious, where a homeless man catches the MIT/Brown University shooter? Because I do. Yes, you heard that right. So not only this homeless man finds the killer in a bathroom because he said he looks suspicious, not wearing the right clothes for the weather, but he posts this on Reddit. Now, what homeless guy is playing a super sleuth where he jeopardizes his own livelihood, getting caught, possibly getting kicked out by chasing this guy? Which could be plausible, being that he's homeless and there's a $50,000 reward that they're offering to catch the killer, but it just seems coincidental. Now, after the cat and mouse game that they said that they played allegedly, it led to the arrest of this guy, the alleged shooter, Claudio Manuel Valente. So not only he went to Brown University, shot at the school, unalived 2 students, but went 50 minutes down the road to unalive the MIT professor. And they said, and I quote, he screamed Allah Akbar before he opened fire. But how is that when he's a Portugal national? And there's a connection here because Nuno Loureiro, who was the MIT professor who was unalived by this guy, they went to school together in Portugal. And not to mention, he had a major breakthrough in the nuclear fusion world, something called magnetic reconnection, which harnesses the power of the sun, cutting down years of research, bringing us closer to free energy. Now, from that tip from the homeless guy, they said they tracked him down. They found him in a storage unit, unalived. They said it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound, so there's that. Now, right after this happens, Trump Media does a merger deal with TAE Technologies for a nuclear fusion deal worth $6 billion. Very interesting. And lastly, in a tinfoil hat turn, remember that character Biff, who's based on Trump? Yeah, he had a company called Biff Co., where he had nuclear power plants. And all on the same day where they announced this deal, legendary NASCAR driver Greg Biffle dies in a plane crash. And his nickname? The Biff. We live in a simulation. Make sure you guys hit up my YouTube, The Maverick Approach, but let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
So, yeah, that's crazy, right? I mean, look at all the things. The guy that died in the plane crash, that just happened pretty recently. Them finding this shooter, the connection of them being in school together, and this guy getting us closer to free energy. Again, here we are, another step towards free energy, and all of a sudden, the person that's doing it is now dead by this guy who was obviously jealous. You know what I mean? But is that true? Was there jealousy? Or was he paid and or provoked to go and kill this guy because of the free energy that he's making? And then the homeless guy that found him, you're going to tell me that wasn't correlated? That wasn't put together? He wasn't pushed into this situation? Come on, man. This is insane. This is a cover-up. Cover up. Like, this is crazy to me. It's evident that we were moments closer to having some type of energy where me and you won't have to pay for energy anymore, and they can't fucking have that. They can't have it. God forbid we don't have to pay for something. You fucking greedy sons of bitches. Where's my federal money? But there's something more here. There is a reason why we do not have water-powered cars. There is a reason why we have no free energy. And there is a reason why we have to continuously pay taxes. Because we are batteries. We are nothing but disposable income to the rich elites. This is wild, everybody. I don't know how true this could be or if it even could be true. But it's a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, dude, I already believe cloning exists.
Guys, this is going to sound insane, but Drake May might actually be a clone of Tom Brady. And don't call me crazy yet, just hear me out. 23 years ago, Tom Brady went to North Carolina to clone his dog. It was dying and he wanted to preserve it, which is kind of weird, but I guess understandable. But that's not all, because while he was there, he admitted to giving his DNA to the lab for a science experiment. Here's where things get wild, because 23 years ago in North Carolina, guess who was born? That's right, Drake May. The timeline matches a little too perfectly, and the similarities don't stop there. Tom Brady is 6'4", 225 pounds, which is a pretty standard QB build, right? But do you know who else is that exact same size down to the pound? Yeah, kind of creepy. Same hair, same face, both born in August, both drafted by the Patriots, and both superstar quarterbacks. Coincidence? Well, I don't know. The evidence is staring us right in the face. Fall for more extremely educational videos, and remember...
I mean, could it be true? I don't know. I honestly can't tell you. Now, I'm going to have to say Tom Brady had himself cloned, and it may be Drake May who was his clone. Super fun, man. I mean, size, weight, facial, those things, man, when they match up, it is pretty wild. Now, this here is the real Stranger Things. Now, I don't know about you. I'm not going to spoil anything, I promise. The last episode did just come out yesterday. I watched it because I couldn't wait. Now, this is where things get funny for me. I started watching it right after our episode of 300 being recorded, which was back in November 30th of 2025. We got to watch the very last episode with everybody last night. So that's how good that fucking show is, people. Now,
did you know that Stranger Things is actually based on a true story and one of the longest running conspiracies in American history? If you're into lore and mysteries, this one runs real deep. Way out on the tip of Long Island, New York, there is a town called Montauk. There is a military base there called Camp Hero. It's got old bunkers, it has secret tunnels, it has huge gates, and some believe it goes 12 stories deep beneath the surface. But the most iconic part of Camp Hero is the massive 120 feet tall radio tower. And the locals swear that something about this area is a little strange. In the 1980s, rumors ran wild about the government doing secret experiments deep beneath Camp Hero in the secret tunnels, saying that the government was testing on psychic kids and mind control and remote viewing and telekinesis. But some stories even went further, involving time travel and other dimensions, and that some machines down there could boost a child's ability to the point where they could open portals. Does any of this sound familiar to you? The conspiracy mainly came from a series of books that are not verified, they're not real, real documents, and the storyteller's name is Preston Nichols. Preston was an electrical engineer in the 1980s, and he said that he recovered memories of working on a secret project deep beneath Camp Hero. He teamed up with a writer named Peter Moon, and together they published the Montauk Project's Experiments in Time. This is the source of the main conspiracy. Eventually, it's said that the testing grew so intense and dangerous, with potential manifestations of fear becoming real from these kids, that the government had to shut it down and cover it all up. The Duffer brothers smartly took this conspiracy theory and turned it into the lore behind their show. First, it was titled Montauk. Stranger Things was going to be based directly in this coastal town. And 11 is the pure example of that, because she's just like one of the kids that were getting tested on beneath Camp Hero. Eventually, all of this was moved to a fictional town in Indiana called Hawkins, and we got the Hawkins Lab. But the DNA of this show comes straight from the Montauk Project. Listen, none of the Montauk Project conspiracies or theories have ever been proven true. There's no verified documents and no evidence. Just a lot of he said, she said that eventually exploded into local lore. Today, Camp Hero is a state park. You can visit it. You can go hike there. You can even get real up and close with that radio tower that looms over the coast. But anything underground is strictly off limits. The tunnels and the sealed doors and these bunkers, they've all been shut down for safety per officials. But fans and true believers of the Montauk Project conspiracy say that it's because the real secrets are still located deep beneath the surface. And the decommissioned base is still a haunting reminder of the potential atrocities that took place there. So no, Stranger Things isn't based on a true story, but it is built from the lore around Montauk, New York, and the local legends there that refuse to die. What exactly happened behind these walls?
Wow, dude, that took what I had and just took it to the next level, everybody. That's wild. So the Montauk Project has never been actually written down. It's not proven true. It's all fake. But you make a good point. Why are all the tunnels closed off? Why, oh why, oh why? There could be some secrets down there. Now, I'm not telling you to go check this out. Stay out of that abandoned building. It could be very dangerous, right? But, my God, man, if this really happened, that place was settled in 1660. Man, if this really happened, what a wild, wild thing, man. That's crazy. But again, this is just a conspiracy, but it is fun because they did make a show out of it, but it is based off of things that may have taken place in New York. Wow. Wow, that's crazy, man. I'm learning new stuff every day. Now, it turns out Christmas was kind of like a made-up, almost like a drunken festival. Like, it didn't quite start, I guess, where it could have. This could also be faked. This could also be false. I just thought it was kind of fun, so I'm gonna I mean, that's wild, right? Pagan traditions, drunken outcomes, banned by Christians for thousands of years. Christmas was something that you were not supposed to be doing. Wow. Look at that, man. And I'm not putting this out there for anything negative or whatever, but I always had a feeling about Christmas. I just don't think it's quite what it's supposed to be. It is what it is, that's for sure. It is what they made it, which is now just, it's all about the things. Nothing else matters but the things, right? So it's really commercialized and gross today. But to see where it came from and for its real reasons of come up, I mean, Jesus' birthday is not on Christmas. And actually, I'm about to blow your minds, I hope, because Jesus' death is not what we thought it was either. No. Check this out, man. The winter solstice is tied to Jesus' death. And our calendar, I do believe, is wrong. And I do believe we have an extra 5 days we were never supposed to have. And I do believe that April 1st is supposed to be the start of the new year. Because when you rearrange things and give us 360 days, not 365, more of the astrological, the stars, and the things that they line up. They just line up. Things make more sense. Timelines make more sense. Weather makes more sense. The way we have it today is all by design. It has all been changed to fit their narrative. Right? So, what's going on with the winter solstice in December 25th? I think this is closer to the truth than anything we've ever been told.
Today is a perfect day to watch this video. Watch this.
There's another very interesting phenomenon that occurs around December 25th, or the winter solstice. From the summer solstice to the winter solstice, the days become shorter and colder. And from the perspective of the northern hemisphere, the sun appears to move south and get smaller and more scarce. The shortening of the days and the expiration of the crops when approaching the winter solstice symbolize the process of death to the ancients. It was the death of the sun. And by December 22nd, the sun's demise was fully realized. For the sun, having moved south continually for 6 months, makes it to its lowest point in the sky. Here a curious thing occurs. The sun stops moving south, at least perceivably, for 3 days. And during this 3-day pause, the sun resides in the vicinity of the Southern Cross, or Crux, constellation. And after this time, on December 25th, the sun moves 1 degree, this time north, foreshadowing longer days, warmth, and spring. And thus it was said, the sun died on the cross, was dead for 3 days, only to be resurrected or born again.
So we're not talking about the physical sun. We're not talking about the son of, we're not talking about the physical son of God. We're not talking about Jesus rising again. We're talking about the actual sun rising again. Now, I did think that was interesting. Unfortunately, there were some events that I am not ready to talk about right now that stopped me from really digging into this this year. But if anybody out there has already done this research and you have the videos or whatever have you, I would love to see them. But I believe this is closer to the truth than anything else. Like I said, the Bible's got some stories, right? They don't always mean exactly what they're saying, but they mean something. So maybe it wasn't Jesus Christ rising from the dead, although somebody said his body wasn't in there. I don't know if I believe that person either. because back then it was really easy to make things happen. You know, when you knew somebody was like coming to the spot, you knew because it was going to take days for them to show up. So you had plenty of time to manipulate and or change the scenery. You know what I mean? Just like the people that build the scenes for movies. So if it is possible that this is closer to the truth and we're talking about the physical sun in the winter solstice, well, you got me. That's great. I think this sounds more realistic than a human rising from the dead. Again, God is my God. Jesus Christ is his son. And no, I don't think he rose from the dead. And unfortunately, everybody, I think Elijah's right. We might be in the 1,000 years of chaos right now. But wow. What a roller coaster of a ride, everybody. Thanks for playing along. Thanks for being here. Thank you for subscribing. If you're new, remember to subscribe. You want your opportunity to tell your story, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. Send an audio, video, or type it out. Link trees in the description below. Again, with that all being said, everybody, I really do hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And as always, I will talk to you next week.